morning, guys. It's Devin here with Devin's Dog Days, and I am going to be working on my adorable little girl Missy today. She is a Lakeland Terrier, and we are going to be bathing her Furnishings today. And I'm just going to be going over the products, tools, and equipment that I use to do that. And then after this, moving forward, I am also going to go over what I do to strip her ears, flat work, and basically step-by-step releasing videos explaining how I groom and maintain her hand strip coat for both show and grooming competitions. So stay tuned. So to get started, I am using my Spektra 4-in-1 clipper to do her sanitary work and prep work. I know a lot of people aren't always sure how or where to clip your lines to, especially when you're dealing with a hand strip coat. So this is how I like to do the sanitary shave on my female terriers. It's just a very light sanitary on these guys because of course these areas are going to be more sensitive, so it's just, you know, it's a nicer thing to do to clipper them. So I'm just setting my clipper to a 15 and I'm going to just do the diamond shave, holding this flat, making sure not to dip in or anything. This is a sensitive area and you want to make sure that you're not going to nick your little bum. So just always holding it flat and going out from the center and just using light pressure. And then for her sanitary here, I just clip basically the vulva, just clipping this area. Everything else can be plucked. Depending on how much you want to or don't want to pluck there, you can go a little bit wider. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and shave her pads. So I'm going to set this to a 40. And I am just going to clip flat right on the bottom of her pads. If you get the sides, don't freak out. You're still going to be able to strip a good amount of that, and it's not the end of the world. Just make sure that you're not shaving up into the toes. As long as you are completely parallel with the pad of the foot, you're good. And then just lightly scooping in a V shape for the pads, just scooping that V. You don't have to use very much pressure. And then I also shave just up the back of the pad, right between the back little area of the pad. So how we have another triangle here, I shave right up into that area, right into that little pocket. And that's how I shave my feet. And then right up into that little pocket. And whenever you're shaving feet, a good rule of thumb is to never really stretch the dog or move the dog in ways that are abnormal to its normal movement. So here, this is a normal range of movement. Here, this is a normal range of movement. You never want to lift their leg up above their hip. She does have black nails, so I'm always mindful to keep an eye out for that little black dot in the center. But for the most part, basically where her toe is coming to a point, I'll be able to smooth that point and make a blunt tip. And I always roll up when I'm dremeling nails because that's how you're going to get them to appear even shorter than they already are. And I can see the black dot in the center, so I've reached the quick, so I'm going to stop so I don't make her bleed or get the quick. Now I'm going to go ahead and do her toes. I dremel her nails, so I'm just going to go ahead and get that done real quick. Just smoothing up, and that gives it a really nice blunt end. So 1, people won't get scratched. 2, they're up off the floor, so they're much less likely to be clip-clapping all over my house. That drives me nuts. And it's also good for them because if their nails get too long and are hanging past their toes and making contact with the floor constantly, it can actually cause deformations in the foot skeletal muscles. It can cause arthritis, and it's just very uncomfortable. Think if you have a well-manicured paw, it's in a nice little foot shape, but as nails are coming out and pushing up, the pad of the foot is still making contact with the floor, but those nails are now pushing their toes up. So it's incredibly uncomfortable, and it's not good for your dog. So always be sure to be getting your dog's nails trimmed at least probably once a month, if not once every other month. You know, if you have your dog on a regular grooming routine, then they should be getting their nails done when they go. And a good rule of thumb too is to walk them on pavement. Walking them on pavement causes friction and will help the nails grind themselves back, which will in turn help recede the quick. Now that we've got our prep all done, I am only going to be bathing her furnishings and her face today because these are the areas where we're trying to grow them longer, and because she has a really nice harsh coat, I have to moisturize and condition her furnishings weekly to make sure that they're actually growing and filling in enough. If not, it would break. This hair is long, and with these hand strip type breeds, because it's so coarse, it is more likely to break. So that is why I like to use moisturizing shampoo and a really good moisturizing conditioner weekly on these furnishings to make sure that they are moisturized and growing nicely and I'm not losing any coat. So here we go. So because I am just bathing Missy today, I'm not bothering to dilute my shampoos. I'm just going to go ahead and use them straight. So the first thing I'm going to do is get these furnishings wet. And I am going literally from the elbow down on the front. And then in the rear, I am following the stifle. So right past the outer thigh muscle, I'm going along the stifle and down toward the hock. Same thing on the other side. Starting at the tuck up, going down the stifle and the hock. All of these areas where you've got furnishings, where you need to grow a coat, that's where you want to be conditioning and moisturizing. And then right over her face, right over the fall. All right, so for today, she's not super dirty, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with my basic shampoo. This is a really great all-around clarifying shampoo, and I always like to use it first to get them clean before I go in with the enhancing shampoos. So just a little, not even a full pump. That'll get both of her front legs done. I like to make sure I get right in between them toesies. I know, it's a hard day, huh? How's life? Good times? Go for her head. Again, just getting this to get her clean, get out any gunkiness, clear out any oil and debris. And just rubbing right up along the stifle. And in between them toesies, yeah. Right. I'm gonna let that sit for 30 seconds now. It's just a practice of mine to make sure that it really does its job. Now we're just gonna rinse the head. Right now I'm not too worried about getting all of the shampoo out. Just need to rinse it. I'm going to be doing another shampooing, so it's okay to not rinse it completely out. If she gets water on her anywhere else, I'm not too worried about it because it's just water. You just want to make sure to not get shampoo on areas that you're not trying to wash and condition. Alright, now for phase 2. I am going to be using Vitalizante moisturizing shampoo. Really great, lightweight, not going to weigh down the coat, and does a fabulous job of helping me maintain these furnishings. Girl, I know, it's a hard day, it's a hard life. Feel so much better after though. You always do. Alright, and now for this time, I usually like to let this sit for about a minute to a minute and a half. So we're going to go ahead, and this time I'm going to make sure to rinse her off completely. Getting all the shampoo out. No matter what kind of shampoo you're using, you need to make sure that you rinse them completely out and leave no shampoo in. If you do, it can lead to skin irritation, hot spots, and just really nasty side effects. So always be sure to rinse your shampoo completely out. I always like to use my trick for making sure that I don't get water in her nose. She's not a huge fan of getting her head rinsed, but at least this way she feels safe. And just to double check to make sure that I get all the shampoo out, I squeeze all the water from the top of the leg down to the foot, squeeze it into my hand, and make sure that there's just no soap left. Just clear water. Our next step is going to be conditioning. So normally, depending on what kind of conditioner I decide to use that day, I kind of toy around with both. I've got both protein, which is a really great leave-in moisturizer that I can do right now and rinse it through, or I've been getting really into using Kubic. Kubic is a human-grade keratin-based conditioner that works amazingly well, and you can actually put it in right before you fluff dry. So I'm going to towel dry her really well, and then I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to fluff dry her. I've really fallen in love with the results. It adds beautiful volume to her furnishings, so we're going to go with this one today. Alright, you guys, so we have officially finished our bath. I have gone ahead and towel dried her furnishings. I mostly do it just like this. I don't like to rough it up too much because I don't want to risk breaking any hair or, you know, honestly removing any hair that I'm really trying to save or grow. So I really just kind of do like a gentle squeeze, and it really comes out very quickly, especially when you have a well-maintained hand strip coat. They dry faster than you can believe. So my next step is going to be using Kubic and putting that through the coat. Nice, soft, flexible pin brush. And for my own preference, I really love to finish using this slicker pin brush, double-sided, so it goes in both directions, just to really make sure that I've stretched all that coat out completely and it is fully fluffed and ready to go. So to apply Kubic, a little goes a long way. It comes out in a foam, and this little bit will be enough for me to go over both of her front legs. And if you use what you feel might be too much once you put it into the coat at first, it will absorb right into the coat once you get to drying it. It's keratin, which means it's heat activated. So as soon as you get some heat onto that, it is going to just soak right up into the coat. And one pump for the back legs, just going down the stifle and all around the hock and bottom of the leg. Just like half a pump, not even, for her face, because I still have it on my hands. And I mostly just do it right here for the flat plane over the top of the head for the fall, and a little on the sides because I also like this to be full so we can really shape out that nice rectangular head. Just wipe off the excess because, like I said, a little goes a long way. So I'm going to be using my Artero snake dryer. This is going to be hitting the market in hopefully less than a month and a half, and I am absolutely in love with it. I've been using it for 2 weeks now, and I don't know what I would do without it. I can't wait till they're here because I definitely need to order a second one. And one last product that I like to use, because if their coats dry up a little too quickly on me, I use a little bit of the Artero mix, which is another conditioning spray. Won't interfere with the keratin, and it just helps to re-wet it and condition it a little bit extra. So now that drying is all done, my last and final step for my furnishing bath and maintenance day is combing through and making sure there are no tangles, that I've brushed out and cleaned every bit of hair, and I can get my comb through it without snagging any tangles or knots, because tangles and knots equal matting and matting equals breakage. And that's exactly what we don't want. And just gently making sure, not ripping any coat out, no coat is coming out. But especially when you make sure that you've got your coat really nice and fluff dried, you don't have any issues gliding a comb through it, especially with the use of static. Not a hair.
are good to go. So thank you guys so much for watching this video with me and Missy. We are so happy to have you guys here and to help everybody learn a little bit more about the Lakeland Terrier and how I maintain their coats here at Devon's Dog Days. Thanks guys, bye.